Welcome to the deep dive. Ready to explore some really cool AI stuff with me today?
Always.
Awesome. So today, we're all about video AI.
Cool.
Yeah, specifically this new approach called VISTA.
Interesting.
It's basically changing how AI understands videos, like really gets those complex ones. Think about it, getting a computer to understand a whole movie.
That's a challenge.
Right. Not just like recognizing a cat or a car, but the whole story.
Right.
The emotions,
Those
everything.
nuances, yeah.
Exactly. So we're going straight to the source.
Okay.
We're diving into the actual research paper on VISTA.
Sounds good.
It's called VISTA Enhancing Long Duration and High Resolution Video Understanding by Video Spatiotemporal Augmentation. Catchy, right?
Yeah, it's got it all in there.
Haha, it does. So what's the problem VISTA is trying to solve?
Well, current AI models, they're great with short videos, like the ones you see on social media.
Right, TikTok, Instagram, all those.
Yeah, but when it comes to longer videos, like a documentary or a movie, or really high-resolution stuff,
They kind of fall apart.
pretty much, they just haven't been trained on the right kind of data.
So VISTA is like a personal trainer for AI, but for video.
Haha, that's a good way to put it.
Ah, right. So how does it actually work?
Well, Vista gets creative. It makes new training videos by combining existing ones in some really clever ways.
Whoa. So it's not just finding more videos, it's making new ones.
Yeah, that's the cool part. It's all about making the training data smarter, not just bigger.
Okay, so it's like instead of giving the AI athlete more weights to lift, it's giving them new exercises, right?
Exactly. It's all about pushing the AI to think differently about video,
Hmm.
to understand it on a deeper level.
I like that. So what kind of clever tricks does Vista use?
Well, one technique is called temporal combination.
Temporal. Sounds fancy.
It is pretty cool. Imagine you're editing a film.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
You've got all these individual scenes, but you need to put them together to tell a story.
Right, make it flow.
Yeah. So temporal combination basically takes shorter video clips and stitches them together to make longer sequences.
Got it. So it's like teaching the AI how to see the big picture.
Precisely. It helps the AI understand how events happen over time, how the story unfolds.
So like if it was watching a mystery movie, it could follow the clues and figure out who did it?
Exactly. Or if it was watching a documentary, it could understand the cause and effect relationships, how one event leads to another.
Wow, that's impressive. But the paper also talks about something called video needle in a haystack.
Ooh, yeah.
What's that all about?
It's even cooler. Basically, you take a small clip, like a tiny detail that's really important, and you hide it inside a much larger video.
Okay, like finding a needle in a haystack, I guess.
Exactly. And then the AI has to find it.
Sounds tough.
It is. It forces the AI to pay really close attention to the video, to analyze every detail.
Wow, that's really clever. So what kind of things are hidden in these needles?
It could be anything, like a specific action, a close-up of an important object, maybe even just a few frames that reveal something crucial.
So by finding these needles, the AI is learning how to connect the dots, understand what's really important.
Exactly. It's like training a detective, teaching it, to look for those subtle clues that everyone else might miss.
This is fascinating. So is there only one way to hide these needles, or are there different approaches?
Well, there are actually a few different ways to do it.
Okay, like what?
So one technique is called temporal NIAH, where you hide the needle at a specific time within the larger video.
Okay, so it's like find the specific moment in the video.
Yeah, like a timestamp. And this helps the AI learn to understand the sequence of events, like putting together a timeline.
Right, understanding what happened first, second, third. Got it. So what else?
Then you have spatial NIAH.
Spatial, like space.
Yeah, it's all about location. So imagine you have a really high-resolution video with tons of detail.
Okay, got it.
Spatial NIAH hides a smaller, lower-resolution image within that larger picture.
So it's like finding a tiny detail in a vast landscape.
Exactly. It forces the AI to really zoom in and analyze those fine details.
Wow. So we're training AI to be incredibly observant, like an eagle spotting a mouse from miles away.
Ah, that's a great analogy.
Thanks. So we've got temporal hiding, spatial hiding. Can you combine those?
You bet. You can actually combine them in a few different ways.
Really? Tell me more.
So there's two needle NIAH, where you hide two needle clips at different times in the video, forcing the AI to connect information that's spread throughout the footage.
That's really challenging. It's like making the AI solve a puzzle, right?
Exactly. It's all about pushing the limits of what the AI can understand.
I love it. So what's the most challenging type?
Well, that would be spatiotemporal NIAH.
Whoa, spatiotemporal. Sounds intense.
It is. It combines both temporal and spatial hiding. So that tiny needle clip is hidden at a specific time and location.
Okay, that's like playing Where's Waldo, but for AI and on steroids.
Pretty much. It's a real test of the AI's abilities to understand both the when and the where of a video.
So how do you actually create these needle in a haystack videos? Is it a person or is there some AI magic involved?
You know, there is some AI magic involved. VISTA actually uses a language model, a really smart AI that understands language to help generate those questions and scenarios.
Oh, wow. So it's like a collaboration between two different types of AI.
Yeah, you could say that. It's like one AI is creating the puzzle and the other AI is trying to solve it.
That's really cool, but I'm guessing all these clever techniques wouldn't be much good without a solid data set to work with, right?
You got it. You need good material to practice with. And that's where VISTA 400K comes in.
Ooh, Vista 400K. That sounds big.
It is big. It's the data set they created using all those techniques we've been talking about. It's got something like 400,000 video and question pairs, all ready to train a video AI model.
Wow, 400,000. So that's like the ultimate training ground for video AI.
You could say that.
Okay, but you mentioned Vista uses another AI to help generate those training scenarios. Doesn't that risk introducing biases or inaccuracies into the whole thing?
That's a really good question. And it's something researchers are very aware of. The goal is to make sure the AI-generated data is diverse, representative of the real world.
I see. So it's like making sure the AI gets a well-rounded education so it doesn't develop any bad habits.
Exactly. It's an ongoing challenge. But it's crucial to make sure the AI is learning from the best possible data.
Okay, that makes sense. So after all this work, all this training, does Vista 400K actually lead to smarter video AI?
Oh, yeah. The results are super impressive. But before we get into that,
Yeah.
we've got to talk about how we even measure smartness in AI, when it comes to video.
Right. We need some way to know if the AI is actually learning.
And that's where benchmark tests come in.
Okay, so benchmarks are like tests for video AI.
Exactly. They're standardized tests that measure different aspects of video AI.
Like giving them a pop quiz on what they just learned.
Kind of like that.
So how do these tests work?
Well, they're kind of like obstacle courses for AI. Like, they might give the AI a video and ask it questions about what's happening.
So like what happened after the dog barked, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And by comparing how well different AI models do on these tests, we can see what's working and what's not.
Gotcha. So it's like having a standardized way to compare different AI models and see which ones are the smartest.
Yeah, that's the idea.
All right, so now we know how to measure how smart an AI is. And in Vista's case, the results are pretty compelling, right?
Oh, yeah. The models trained with VISTA consistently outperformed those that weren't.
So like it's not just a little bit better, it's noticeably better.
Definitely. And not just on one benchmark either, but across a whole range of tests. They were better at understanding both long and high-resolution videos.
Okay, so Vista is clearly making a difference in the lab. But can you give me an example of what those improvements look like in practice? Like, what kind of question can this AI answer now that it couldn't before?
Okay, let's say you're watching a video of a birthday party,
Sounds fun.
and you ask the AI, what happened after the cake was cut?
Okay, good question.
A basic AI might just list all the objects it sees in the video after that point. Like there's a table, some kids, a balloon, but an AI trained on VISTA,
It would understand the context.
yeah, it would give you a much more meaningful answer, like the kids started playing games, then the adults chatted, and eventually everyone helped clean up.
Wow. It's like it understands the flow of the party, the social dynamics. That's amazing.
It is. And that's a big part of what makes VISTA so special. It's teaching AI to understand the nuances of video, not just the basic elements.
So cool. But you mentioned Vesta is especially good with those long videos. What makes those so challenging for regular AI?
Well, think about how you watch a movie. You're constantly building a mental model of the story, right?
Yeah, keeping track of characters, the plot twists.
Exactly. For a long time, AI struggled to do that. It was like trying to understand a book by only reading a sentence at a time. They couldn't hold on to the information long enough to make sense of it all.
Okay, that makes sense. So Vista is helping AI develop that long-term memory, right?
Exactly. That ability to remember what happened earlier and connect it to what's happening now.
So it's like teaching AI to think more like a human, like a storyteller.
Exactly.
This is incredible. And the results on those long video benchmarks really show that, right?
Oh, yeah. The VISTA-trained models performed way better on those tests, especially on questions about medium-length videos, like 4 to 15 minutes long.
Wait, is that longer than the videos in the VISTA 400K dataset?
Most of the augmented videos are under 3 minutes, yeah.
So the AI learned something about how stories work that it can apply to even longer videos.
Looks like it.
Hmm.
It's like they're learning some fundamental storytelling principles that generalize beyond the specific videos they were trained on.
That's amazing. But VISTA doesn't just deal with length, right? It's also about those super high-resolution videos.
Right. We're talking about those crystal clear videos where you can see every single detail.
Oh, yeah. Those are cool. But why are those a challenge for AI?
Well, traditional AI models can get overwhelmed by all that information. It's like trying to read a book with a magnifying glass. They see all those pixels, but don't really know what they mean.
So it's not just about seeing the details, it's about understanding them.
Exactly. And that's where Vista's focus on spatial reasoning really shines.
Ah, you mean those spatial NIAH techniques we talked about earlier?
Yep. Hiding those tiny images within the larger ones really helps the AI learn to pick out those crucial details in high-resolution videos.
It's like we're training their eyes to become super sharp.
Exactly.
So how do we know Vista's actually good at dealing with high-resolution video?
Well, they actually developed a whole new benchmark test called HR Video Bench, specifically for high-resolution video understanding.
Okay, cool. So how did Vista-trained AI perform on that?
They aced it. Showed a 6.5% improvement over models that weren't trained with Vista.
Wow. That's huge. So we're seeing real measurable improvements in AI's ability to understand video, both in terms of length and resolution.
Absolutely.
But I'm always a sucker for a good story. Can you give me a specific example of how Vista-trained AI performs in action?
Sure. Remember that table tennis example from earlier?
Yeah, what about it?
Well, they showed a high-resolution video of a table tennis match to different AI models.
Okay.
But here's the thing. The player in the video hits the ball with his leg instead of his paddle.
Whoa. Seriously?
Yeah, it's a subtle action, but it's clearly visible in the high-resolution video. It was a test to see if the AI could pick up on those crucial details.
So it's like they're testing the AI's ability to understand what's actually happening, not just what it expects to happen, right?
Exactly.
So what happened? Did the AI notice?
The baseline models, the ones not trained with Vista, completely miss it. They just assume the player hit the ball with the paddle.
Really? They couldn't see it?
Nope. It's like they were stuck in their preconceived notions of how cable tennis works. They saw what they expected to see, not what was actually there.
Wow, that's wild. But what about the Vista-trained AI?
The Vista-trained AI, on the other hand, correctly identified that the player hit the ball with his leg. It was the only one that got it right.
That's amazing. So Vista is like giving AI the superpower to see those subtle details that others miss.
That's a great way to put it.
It's making it more accurate, less prone to making those silly mistakes that we humans would easily catch.
Definitely. And that's super important as we start relying more and more on AI to help us understand the world around us.
Absolutely. But is Vista perfect? I mean, no technology is flawless, right?
You're right. There's always room for improvement. One thing researchers are working on is making those augmented videos even more realistic.
Ooh, I see. How do you make an already difficult training scenario even harder?
Well, take those spatial NIH techniques again, where they overlay the smaller image onto the larger one. It works well for training the AI, but it doesn't always look perfectly natural.
Oh, so it's like those old video game graphics where you could tell something was off, even if you didn't know exactly what.
Exactly.
So they're trying to make it even more lifelike.
Yeah. Like using more advanced video editing techniques, maybe even AI-powered tools to seamlessly blend those needles into the larger video.
Wow. So it's like creating the ultimate training ground for video AI.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's all about pushing those boundaries and making the AI work even harder to learn.
This is amazing. But let's zoom out a little bit. Why should we, as humans, care about all of this? What's the big deal about Vista?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll dig into next time.
Ooh, a cliffhanger. I can't wait.
Stay tuned.
All right, we'll be right back to wrap up our depth dive into Vista and explore the exciting possibilities it holds for the future of video AI.
It's going to be good.
I know, right? Welcome back to the deep dive. So before the break, we were talking about Vista 400K, that huge data set for training AI on video understanding. And the big question is, does training with this actually make AI smarter when it comes to video?
The short answer is, yeah. It totally does.
That's what we like to hear. But how do we even know that? Like, how do you measure how smart an AI is, especially when it comes to something as complex as video?
Well, it's not like giving them an IQ test or anything,
Haha. Right.
but we do have these things called benchmark tests.
Ah, benchmarks. You mentioned those earlier. Are those like standardized tests for video AI?
Yeah, you could think of them that way. They're like obstacle courses designed to test different skills the AI needs to understand video.
Okay, so it's not just one test, it's a whole series of challenges.
Exactly, like answering questions about a video, summarizing the content, identifying specific actions, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And by comparing how different AI models do on these benchmarks, we can see which ones are really learning and which ones are just, well,
Not so bright.
yeah, basically.
I get it. So benchmarks are like a level playing field to compare different AI models and see which ones are truly understanding video.
You got it. And in Vista's case, the benchmarks show some pretty impressive results.
Okay, spill the beans. What kind of results are we talking about here?
Well, the researchers tested a bunch of different video AI models. Some were trained on Vista 400K and some weren't.
Right, the control group.
Exactly. And
Uh,
guess what? The models trained with Vista consistently outperformed those that weren't.
No way. So Vista is actually making a difference.
A big one. We're talking about noticeable improvements across a bunch of different benchmarks, especially those focused on long videos and high-resolution videos.
Okay, so the lab results are promising, but what about in the real world? Can you give me an example of what these improvements actually look like? Like, what can a Vista-trained AI do that others can't?
Okay, let's go back to that birthday party example. You asked the AI, what happened after they cut the cake? A basic AI, one that wasn't trained on Vista, might just give you a list of objects it sees. Table, balloons, kids. Not very helpful, right?
No, not really. It's not getting the whole picture.
Exactly. But a Vista-trained AI, it would understand the sequence of events, the social dynamics, everything. It might say something like, the kids started playing games, the adults chatted, and then everyone helped clean up.
Wow. It's like it understands the party.
Exactly. It's getting the nuances, the context, and that's huge for AI,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to video.
Totally. So Vist's teaching AI to think more like a human, to see the story beyond just the objects. But you said Vista's especially good with long videos, right?
Right.
Why are those so tough for AI to grasp?
Well, think about it. When we watch a movie, we're not just processing each frame in isolation. We're building a mental model of the story, keeping track of the characters, the plot, the themes, all of that.
Yeah, totally. It's like a puzzle we're putting together in our heads as we watch.
Exactly. And for a long time, AI just couldn't do that. They had trouble holding on to all that information and connecting the dots. It was like trying to understand a novel by only reading a few words at a time.
Right, you lose the context. So Vista is helping AI develop that same kind of long-term memory that we have.
You got it. That ability to remember what happened earlier and connect it to what's happening now, to see the big picture unfolding over time.
That's awesome. And that's reflected in the results on the long video benchmarks right now.
Yeah. The Vista-trained models showed the most improvement on those medium-length videos, like 4 to 15 minutes.
Wait, but isn't that longer than most of the augmented videos in Vista 400K? You said those were mostly under 3 minutes, right?
Yeah, that's right. So it seems like the AI is learning something fundamental about how stories work, something it can apply to even longer videos than it was specifically trained on.
So it's not just memorizing the training videos, it's actually learning how to understand narrative structure.
Seems that way,
Yeah.
which is pretty amazing when you
Yeah.
think about it.
It is. But Vista doesn't just handle length. It also tackles those super high-resolution videos, right?
Exactly. Those videos with so much detail, you can practically zoom in and count the leaves on the trees.
I love those. But why are those a challenge for AI?
Well, think about it. Traditional AI models might get overwhelmed by all that visual information. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. They can't process it all effectively.
Right, so it's not just about seeing the details, it's about understanding what they mean,
Mhm.
right? Making sense of the chaos.
Exactly. And that's where Vista's spatial reasoning techniques really shine.
Ah, those spatial NIAH techniques, right? Hiding those tiny details in the larger image.
You got it. That kind of training helps the AI develop these laser-sharp eyes to pick out those crucial details that others miss.
So it's like Vista is training AI to be the ultimate detective. But how do we know this actually works?
Well, they created a brand new benchmark specifically to test AI's ability to understand high-resolution video.
Oh, cool. What's it called?
HR Video Bench. It's all about pushing those limits and seeing what AI can really do with all those pixels.
So how did the Vista trained models do on HR Video Bench?
They crushed it, showed a 6.5% improvement over models that weren't trained with VISTA.
Wow. That's a pretty big difference. So it's clear that Vista's making a real impact, both with long videos and those super high resolution ones.
Definitely, it's a real game changer.
I love it. But I gotta ask, do you have any good stories about how Vista trained AI performs in action? Like any specific examples that really showcase its abilities?
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's go back to that table tennis example.
The one where the guy hits the ball with his leg.
That's the one. So they showed this high-resolution video to a bunch of different AI models.
Yeah.
And the baseline models, the ones not trained on VISTA, they totally missed it.
Really? They didn't see him kick the ball?
Nope. They just assumed he hit it with the paddle because, that's what you normally do in table tennis.
Right. So they were stuck in their expectations. They couldn't see what was right in front of them.
Exactly. They weren't paying close enough attention to the details.
But the Vista trained AI, it caught it, right?
Oh, yeah. It correctly identified that the player hit the ball with his leg. It was the only one that got it right.
That's incredible. It's like Vista gave it that extra awareness, that ability to spot those subtle details that make all the difference.
That's a great way to put it. And that's what makes VISTA so exciting. It's not just about making AI smarter. It's about making it more accurate, more reliable, less prone to making those silly mistakes that humans would easily catch.
Totally. But even though Vista is doing amazing things, I gotta ask, are there any areas where it could be improved? Nothing's perfect, right?
You're right. No technology is perfect. And VISTA is still pretty new, so there's definitely room for improvement. One thing researchers are working on is making those augmented videos even more realistic.
Ah, okay. So like making those spatial NIH scenarios even more convincing.
Exactly. Right now, it's still kind of obvious when you're looking at those overlay images. It's a little
Yeah.
bit artificial.
So it's like a telltale sign that something's not quite right.
Yeah. So the next step is to use more advanced video editing techniques, maybe even AI-powered tools, to seamlessly blend those needle clips into the larger video.
Ooh, like making it indistinguishable from real-world footage.
Exactly. That's the goal. Make it so real, the AI has to work even harder to figure out what's going on.
It's like creating the ultimate training simulator for video AI. But beyond all the technical stuff, let's talk about the big picture. Why should we, as humans, care about VISTA? What's the impact of all of this?
That's a great question, and it's one that's really important to think about, because VISTA is not just some abstract research project. It has the potential to impact all of our lives.
Okay, so it's not just about making AI smarter for AI's sake. It's about using that intelligence to improve our world.
Exactly. Imagine a world where your TV can instantly find that one scene you're trying to remember, or your home security system can not only detect but actually understand what's happening and alert you to potential dangers.
Ooh, that would be awesome. So Vista could lead to all kinds of cool, practical applications that make our lives easier and safer.
Totally. And it goes beyond that. Think about education. We could have personalized learning platforms that adapt to each student's needs, using AI to analyze their facial expressions and engagement levels to tailor the content in real time.
Wow, so AI could become like a personal tutor for everyone.
Exactly. And think about healthcare. AI could assist doctors in analyzing medical scans with incredible precision, helping them make faster and more accurate diagnoses.
That could literally save lives. So we're talking about AI that can enhance human capabilities, not replace them. It's about making us smarter, not making us obsolete.
Exactly. It's about empowering us to do more, learn more, understand more, all through the power of video.
I love that, but it's not just about practical applications, is it? Vista could also change the way we experience entertainment and art.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine video games that respond to your emotions, movies that adapt to your preferences, virtual reality experiences that feel truly immersive because the AI understands your every move and intention. We're talking about a whole new era of interactive storytelling.
That sounds incredible, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Vista is still a young technology. What's happening right now in the world of Vista research? What are people working on?
Researchers are exploring VISTA's applications in all sorts of fields. Take self-driving cars, for example.
Okay.
VISTA could be used to train those AI systems to understand complex traffic scenarios, not just recognizing cars and pedestrians, but also interpreting subtle cues like hand gestures or changes in a driver's facial expression.
So we're talking about AI that can not only see the road, but also understand the intentions of other drivers, making those self-driving cars even safer.
Exactly. It's about adding that extra layer of understanding, that human-like intuition, to make those AI systems more reliable and trustworthy.
That's super important. What other areas are showing promise?
Well, in video surveillance, VISTA could help those systems become more proactive.
Okay, how so?
Imagine an AI that can analyze crowd behavior, detect suspicious activity, even predict potential safety risks, all in real time.
It's like having an incredibly vigilant guardian watching over us, making our world a safer place.
Exactly.
Mm.
And all of this is possible because of Vista's ability to really understand the nuances of video, the same way we humans do.
That's pretty amazing. But with all this talk about potential, it's easy to forget that Vista is still a powerful technology. And with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Absolutely. We need to be thoughtful about the ethical implications of Vista and make sure it's used for good.
Like what kind of ethical concerns?
Well, we need to be careful about potential biases in the data, for example. And we need to make sure these AI systems are developed and deployed in a way that respects privacy and benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
It's a reminder that AI is not just about algorithms and data, it's about people. And we need to be actively involved in shaping its future, making sure it aligns with our values and aspirations.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So to anyone listening out there, if you're excited about the future of AI, if you're curious about the possibilities of video understanding, get involved.
Yeah. Read about Vista, join the conversation, ask questions.
Exactly. The future of AI is a collaborative effort. We need diverse voices and perspectives to make sure it's used to create a more just, equitable, and enriching world for everyone.
That's a perfect message to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Vista.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been talking about Vista, this new approach to video AI and all the amazing things it can do, but let's get down to brass tacks. Why should any of this matter to someone listening right now?
That's the question, right? Like, what's the real-world impact of all this AI research?
Exactly. It's easy to get lost in the tech talk and forget about the bigger picture.
Yeah. But the truth is, Vista has the potential to change the way we interact with video, and that affects everyone.
So it's not just making AI smarter for the sake of it. There are real implications for our everyday lives.
Absolutely. Imagine, like, your smart TV can instantly find that one scene you're trying to remember, or your home security system can actually understand what's happening, and alert you to real threats.
Wow. So we're talking about AI that's not just watching, but actually understanding what it sees.
Yeah, and not just understanding, but helping us make sense of the massive amount of video out there.
It's like having a personal AI assistant that's a video expert.
Exactly. Think about the possibilities in education. We could have, like, personalized learning platforms that adapt to each student's needs.
Hmm.
The AI could analyze their facial expressions, see if they're engaged, and adjust the content accordingly.
Wow. So AI could be like a personal tutor for everyone.
Exactly. And in healthcare, AI could help doctors analyze those complex medical scans, making diagnoses faster and more accurate.
That's incredible. It's like AI is enhancing human capabilities, not replacing them.
Right. It's about giving us tools to do more, to learn more, to understand more, and video is a huge part of that.
It is. And we can't forget about entertainment. Vista could revolutionize that too, right?
Totally. Imagine video games that respond to your emotions, movies that adapt to what you like. Virtual reality could become truly immersive because the AI understands your every move. It's a whole new world of interactive storytelling.
That sounds amazing. But all this talk about the future, Vista's already having an impact today, right?
Oh, yeah. Researchers are exploring Vista in all sorts of fields, self-driving cars, for example.
How would Vista help with that?
Well, it could train those AI systems to better understand what's happening on the road,
Hmm.
not just recognizing cars and people, but also those subtle cues like hand gestures or even changes in a driver's expression.
So it's like giving self-driving cars a dose of human intuition.
Pretty much. It's about making them safer and more reliable, and Vista can definitely help with that.
What about other areas? Where else is Vista showing promise?
Well, in video surveillance, Vista could help security systems become more proactive.
Yeah.
Imagine an AI that can analyze crowd behavior, detect suspicious activity, even predict potential risks, all in real time.
Wow. That's like having an incredibly watchful guardian always looking out for us.
Exactly. It can make our world a much safer place.
This is incredible, but all this potential comes with responsibility, right? We need to make sure this technology is used ethically.
Absolutely. As with any powerful technology, we need to be careful about how Vista is developed and used.
Mm.
We need to address potential biases, protect privacy, and make sure these AI systems benefit everyone.
That's so important. AI shouldn't just be about algorithms and data, it should be about people. We need to shape its future in a way that aligns with our values and makes the world a better place.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into VISTA. It's been a fascinating journey.
It really has.
To everyone listening, thanks for joining us. And remember, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.